Hello and welcome to the Circle Talk Show that comes on your way every week. I am your host, Khadija Tujaite. Today, I am very honored to welcome a renowned politician that joined us today. Welcome, Mr. Momodou Bah. However, instead of introducing him, I would like to give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Thank you very much, Khadijatu. Thank you. Si dalal boma dalal si Jimbala TV. Comme na ko waxee man la Momodou Bah di njiitali Afro Movement mooy African Federalism and Republican Orientation maa ngi juddoo Sunchubalia maagee fi demee fi school def suma primary school moo fa jógee dem St. Peter's Junior Secondary School mu fa jógee dem Nusrat High School. After Nusrat High School si lañ am opportunity bi dem Cheikh Anta Diop University fu ñu amee sunu master 2 on African and post-colonial studies ma defend suma thesis on politics and foreign policy of the Gambia from independence to 2014. Gannaaw loolu tamit ma bind ay téere ma bind naa ñaari téere benn mu ngi tudda an eyewitness to freedom beneen to the 433 an eyewitness to freedom political book la buy depict buy wax si wàllum politique of the Gambia jamono Yaya Jammeh bi si election bi ni ñu def ba mu génn fii nii te nit ñi sànni wu ñu xeer nit ñi coow amul ñu def ko si jàmm daal election boo xamante ne ku mel ni Yaya Jammeh dayoo bu mu amoon si réew mi fii ñu génne Gambien si dem si pôle bi ñu génne ko si jàmm te ñun tamit ñu bokkoon fa ñu play woon fa rôle bu am solo because man maa nekkoon the leader of Pro Gambia civil society organisation la woon boo xam ne dañ ko créé toon pour ñu dox jàmm si diggante political leaders yi yàlla may ñu si ndam so buñ paree moo tax mu mun a nekk an eyewitness to freedom. So eyewitness to freedom boobu ma nettali jaar-jaari jamono boobu noonu si wàllum politique bi nu mu fa demee from A to Z mu nekk book boo xamante ne ñëpp rafetlu nañ ko in fact lawyer Ousseynou Dabo sax moom moo ko loncoon mu term the book as one of the best political data on the history of Gambian politics. So mu nekk lu ñu rafetlu baax a baax so loolu muy wane jaar-jaar suñu jaar-jaar wane ne am nañ jaar-jaar tooguñ rek ñu ñëw ñu dugg si politique bi waaye dafa am jaar-jaar because lu nekk foog nga tarbiya ko dem nañ ci school yónni nañ ñu si school bi pour ñu jàng yàlla may nañu xam-xam bu nga xamante ne war nañ mën a ñëw ñu bokk ko ak suñu réew ñu développe suñu réew because xam-xam du jëriñ dara lu dul nga wone ko nga jàngale ko wala nga apply ko kon loolu moo tax ñu ñëw ñu dugg si wàllum politique bi because of dañ waajal suñu bopp si wàllum jàng ba pare ñëwaat tamit nekk si biir political arena bi di doon dox jaama gis political leaders si niñ doon demee ak mbir yooyu noonu yëpp ba mu dem ba tax ñu bind book boobu noonu pour explainer Gambien si pour explainer adduna bi yëpp ñu xam ne nii la politique bi doon demee ba pare tamit ñu nettali si waaye ñun tam suñu jaar-jaar bu ñu fi jógee bu ñu fi nekkee bu ñu demoon Cheikh Anta Diop University lan moo ñu yéeme woon lan moo ñu inspire woon because of su jamono boobu noonu 2010 fekk Abdoulaye Wade moom moo fa nekkoon am na développement yu doon am Dakar suñu bët tegu na si gis nañ développement yu bëri yoo xamante ne bëgg nañ pour Gambie tamit mu am ko so ñu ñëwaat ñu bindaat beneen book boo xamante ne 433 attaque lañ ko tuddee 433 attaque boobu bu ñu duggee si kujje politique bi si lañ ko binda yóbbal boobu la ñu indi pour Gambien si mu nekk 433 attaque ñu ngi ko jëlee si football system taxawaay bi mooy 433 so ñun taxawaay développement bu ñu bëgg a indi si Gambie tamit moom mooy 433 si 433 bi di nga am wàllum jàmm di nga am wàllum security di nga am wàllum development di nga am wàllum infrastructure di nga am wàllum jàng bi di nga am wàllum agriculture bi tourisme bi et cetera lépp lu nga xamante ne daal nguur daf ko dee doxee loolu lañ système boobu lañ teg mu nekk système boo xamante ne attacking formation la attacking formation gis nga si football mbir yi dafa war a gaaw nga gaaw dem score sa goal bi rek moom mooy ne sa soxla yu nga xamante ne yu réew yi am développement yu réew yi bëgg pour ñu def ko loolu dañ ci war a gaawee su ko defee ñu développe réew mi so moo tax 433 boobu noonu ci la ñëw ba pare ñëw mu nekk ay xalaat yu nga xamante ne tamit def nañ ko si ñu jox ko journaliste yi riit ko ñëpp xam nañ ne xam-xam moom moo fa nekk xam-xam boo xamante ne mën na yore réew mi kon lii daal moom mooy sunu jaar-jaar ak sunu taxawaay si réew mi.
kon su ma déggee bu baax loo wax sa jaar-jaar si àdduna wala jaar-jaaru réew mi moo tax nga taxaw pour Canada.
waaw absolutely because am nga comme waxoon naa la ñëwoon nañ si nekk si civil society bi moom moo nekk ñu nga xamante ne ñu ànd ak askan bi ñoom nekkuñ ci politique bi ñoom faruñu fenn ñoom dañoo ñëw ànd ak askan bi xool jafe-jafe yu fa nekk ñu wax ko xool luy jubale nit ñi ñu wax ko so foofu lañ njëkkee waaye bu ñu demee ba gis ne tamit léegi toola nañ ci foo xamante ne lu ñu jotoon a xam-xam bu ñu jot a am ci wàllum politique bi jot na ñu dugg ci politique bi soo dat ñun tamit ñu indi sunu participation ci développement ni réew mi because of réew xam-xam moom moo koy doxal way jal ni ala azanil ardi inni hafizun alim dégg nga Yusuf bu buggee ñu fal ko dafa wax ne man jox leen ma wàllim trésorerie bi because of man am naa xam-xam bu ko mën a doxal kon xam-xam moom mooy doxal réew yaa ngi dégg tamit fële kii bi yàlla doon wàccee fële nel aadama wa allama aadama al asmaa kullaha summa aradahum alal malaikati fa xaala an ñuy man maa wàccee aadama ba pare ma def si moom xam-xam ba pare ma ne ko ne mu jàngal malaayka yi kon njiit suñ ko tànn bokk na ci xam-xam moom mooy tax nga mun a développe réew te soo bàyyi xel fu nekk ni développement bu am yëpp si wàllum technologie si wàllum xam-xam si wàllum dem bi ak dikka bi si wàllum télévision bi ñoo seetaan nii si wàllum social media bi si wàllum médecine loo jël rek développement boo jël noonu rek xamal na ne loolu xam-xam moom moo ko jiitu te kon yàlla may nañu ñu demoon uti xam-xam si réew bu nga xamante ne francophone country la jafe na nga gis an anglophone student mu jóge si dëkkam dem si francophone country jàngee fa te taxawaalu fa mu nekk one of the best students si université bi mu am ay téere ñuy bind ba nga xamante ne soo demee tey si Cheikh Anta Diop University di nga ko fa fekk loolu noonu dafa am solo te téere boo noonu tamit si gestu la boo xamante ne wàllum politique yi Gambia loolu lañ si gestu kon tey niiw na ñu nga xamante ne dinañ la wax ne ëpp nañu xam-xam si wàllum politique donte dañ ciy suufeel suñu bopp rek waaye tamit nag loo xamante ne loo jàngi woon soo ñëwee war nga ko tari lii moom moo tax ñu dugg ci politique te gis nañ jafe-jafe yu nga xamante ne mu ngi fii nii from independence ba léegi jógewu fi jafe-jafe yooyu ñoom ñoo fi nekk muy jafe-jafe ndox bi muy jafe-jafe courant bi muy jafe-jafe wér-gu-yaram bi muy suñu wàllum jàng bi nu moo demee ak lu bëree bëri loo xamante ne wàllum yoon yi yu bëri ba léegi problème boobu noonu lañ nekk di jànkonteel te war nañoo weesu foofu noonu because of development loolu jëmuwaay la rek ndox courant yoon yooyu ay mbir la yoo xamante ne doomu aadama bi daf ko soxla daf ko jëfandikoo du loolu moom mooy indi loolu moom mooy développe réew luy développe réew mooy yow may yu la yàlla may si suuf bi nooy fexe ba jëfandikoo ko nooy fexe ba transforme ko nooy fexe ba sa réew mu jëfandikoo ko because loolu noonu alal bu bëri moom moo si nekk soo am nañ pétrole am nañ gaz ñu ne fu nekk ni Sénégal am na pétrole am na gaz so Sénégal right now mi ngi jaay pétrole am lu moo jaay pétrole am lu mu si am si at bi ëmb na dépense am lu réew mi di dépense so te ñun ba léegi ñun Gambie lu ñoo dépense lu si ëpp dañ ko dem lebi suñ ko lebee ñu indi ko si biir réew mi so at bu nekk yaa ngay leb sa bor mu ngi gën a yokk yaa ngay gën a dem so doo mën a développe sa réew ñun mënuñoo def dara te lebuñu xaalis léegi réew yi foofu la ñu war a jóge nga moom sa bopp nga fippu nga ut ay lu nga xamante ne moom moo laa indil alal su ko defee nga sukkandiku si loolu noonu nga développe sa réew ñun politique bi la ñu indi si Gambian politique bu nga xamante ne moo fi manqué so lu ñu fi jot a gis rek moom moo nekk nguur bu ñëw rek daf ñoo wane ne moom mun na samp yoon waaw samp yoon baax na waaye yoon kenn du ko lekk yoon infrastructure la infrastructure tey nit ñaa ngi xiif nit ñaa ngi yéeg ci kaw télé bi di dem di ñëw waaye am na nit ñi amuñ sa lu ñoo lekk te maa ngi dégg président Barrow di wax ne fii kenn xiif fi nit ñi ñu ngi añ ñu ngi naan ñu ngi reer.
waaye ni ñu koy amee mooy problème.
waaw dama ne loolu mistake la xam nga yow soo nekkee sa palais nga nekk palais boo xamante ne tey fayoo courant fayoo ndox fayoo sécurité fayoo lekk fayoo dara lépp lu nekk dañ la ko indil fii yow munoo xam jafe-jafe bu nekk si askan bi waaye ñun xam nañ jafe-jafe bu nekk si askan bi because every day ñu ngi ànd ak ñoom ñu ngi si biir marché bi ñu ngi si biir moto yi ñu ngi si koñ yi xam nañ jafe-jafe yu nga xamante ne yu sunu askan di jànkonteel moo tax askan bi dafa soxla ñu mel ne ñun ñu ñëw si nguur bi ñu wecci loolu noonu.
Wow, thank you so much for that wonderful contribution. What you just mentioned here reminded me about literature. Lion and the Jewel, we talked about African leaders. When the lion said the giraffe cannot lead because the head is too far from the ground, he cannot see what is going within the locality or what people are going through, which is very, very true. And then now I am saying it. How can you be saying that people are not hungry when you don't give them food to eat and all the other stuff? As leaders, I hope, like you said, it does not only have to be about resources or whatsoever. We can benefit from our own resources and also utilize what we have better than owing debts to other countries and other stuff like that. We can make it here and use what we have to survive and then develop our own nation. And I believe what you said. Infrastructure cannot feed us. We need quality education, and which we don't have here. That's why we have to go out and seek it out there. We can make it here. Had it been we have quality education, youths wouldn't have been suffering to go through the Barrow and other stuff to make it. Had it been they were employed here, they were given the rights. It's a whole lot going on, really. But then we're waiting for that best man that will come and then develop this, and then we hope the best man could win this election. Just to come back to what you've been saying, what are you going to do when you become the president? When you come to the health issue and the agriculture issue?
Okay, wonderful question. Thank you very much. I remind your viewers that I am Momodou Bah, the leader of Afro movement, meaning African Federalism and Republican Orientation, a Pan-African movement. The first Pan-African movement in Gambian politics. So I am very proud to be here today to talk about my ambition, to talk about our agenda, the agenda of Afro movement, which is a Pan-African agenda, which is to unite the whole Africa, because we have the natural resources, we have the intelligentsia, we have the expertise. Now what we need is we need
the technological materials to develop.
Yeah, technical material to develop. For that the expertise, if you see, our diaspora, people who are in Europe, who are in America,
really
who are everywhere, they have that knowledge. Yeah, they are in all every tech company around the world. They are everywhere around the world. They have the expertise. They are in medicine. They are in agriculture. They are in anything that you think of. Any development that you think of, you have Africans who are there. So what we need now, we need leaders who would organize them, who would call them, and then give them the necessary tools, give them the necessary advantage that they need, put them in very good condition, and then reorganize our society with that. This is how Africa would able to develop, because we cannot give away our goals to the Europeans, to the Westerners. We cannot give away our natural resources. They would come, take it,
and develop their own countries.
Take the raw materials at their own countries, and then transform them, and then bring them back to us and selling it at a very high price. So this is what we are saying, that it is high time we stop it. So through Afro movement, these are the type of political ideology that we are proposing to the Gambian people and to the Africans at large. But if you have Afro movement in Africa, in the Gambia, we have it in Senegal, we have it in other countries. These are the leaders who will make the difference. And it is not that we are trying to reinvent the wheel. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel, because it is something that is already put in place by the likes of Edward Francis Small, Sheikh Anta Diop, Kwame Nkrumah, Gamal Abdel Nasser, you name them. All these people, have already put, the strategies. They put the strategies on which Africa could just,
follow.
Hold on to in order to develop. But unfortunately,
if we had followed their lead, we wouldn't have.
So this is why we are just promoting African unity, so that we get back to the drawers and bring those people their ideas, and then implement it. We just lack the courage. We just lack leaders who have the courage, to unite us together. And so coming back to your question in terms of
health and agriculture.
Our health system, we have a broken health system. We have health infrastructure, meaning we have health posts, we have hospitals around the country. That is undeniable. Okay,
but
the previous governments, did a lot in it. But now, the content, the personnels, the apparatus, the pharmacy system, that is supposed to guide that, is what is lacking. For example, the previous government under Jammeh did a lot by creating the University of the Gambia, whereby a lot of medical students were trained. And now those medical students, they are generalists. Most of them. We have generalist doctors. So a generalist doctor is someone who can diagnose any disease that a patient has. So if you come with any disease, he or she can tell you this is this and give prescription.
We shouldn't be.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to specialization, there is a specialist, a doctor who is a specialist in a certain thing. For example, like if you have your problem with your eye, you need to see an ophthalmologist. If you have a problem with your stomach, you need to see a gynecologist. If you have a problem with your skin, you need to see a dermatologist, etc., etc. So these are the specialists that we need in our country. Even if you have a toothache, it is very difficult, for you to see a dentist. So because we don't have specialists in this, we don't have many of them. Many people, they die with their pain because they don't have access to a doctor. They don't have access to a specialist. And now, we are moving into a world whereby we have this AI, artificial intelligence. That is taking over all jobs, that is transforming the world. A simple diagnosis, like in America or in other Western countries, a simple diagnosis now would be done by, an AI-trained tool or machine, whereby they can diagnose as many as possible. So now, what are you doing about that? Okay, so now, as I told you, Jammeh did a lot in medicine. He built the University of the Gambia. He trained many people. So now, what are you doing to improve? To give more training to those generalists to specialize in their different fields of specialization. We have very few of them. If you count the dermatologists that are here, very few. If you count the gynecologist that are here, very few. So people don't have access to this specialized medication, this specialized medicine. So it is a problem. If you go to the also, people don't have access to medicine. Medicine is not free. Even if it is not free, but it should be subsidized. There are many diseases like dialysis, diabetes, and many other dangerous diseases. Other governments around the world, they have subsidies, to make it cheaper to their population. But in the Gambia, here everything is expensive. There are certain diseases. If anyone has it, it is difficult for them to follow their treatments because they cannot pay that huge amount of money. And some of those diseases, they cannot even treat them here. So they need to travel to Senegal or to abroad. You see, even our authorities, when they are sick, they go to abroad. So the health system is a huge problem. Okay. So the problems are the solution. The problems are always the solution. So what do we need to do? We need to train more specialized doctors. We need to subsidize our medical. We need to subsidize pharmacies so that we have cheap medicines. We need to make sure that we have our hospitals. We have all the necessary tools that we need. As I told you before, we have specialists who are in Europe, who are in America, who are in everywhere. They are Gambians. They have the knowledge. It's just a matter of calling them, putting them in a good condition, and then, giving them those departments. They will do
what they are expected
of, and then they will help the people. So this is what will help us in terms of health, and also try to control the pharmacy system, and also the medicines in the country. You remember about the Aki, disease, about those syrups, that were given to kids, that killed them, over 100 of them. So we don't have laboratories that are special laboratories that will check every medicine that comes into this country. So this is a huge problem. So we need to put in place laboratory specialists who would check, medicines that come, or drugs that come into the country before they are distributed to pharmacies for use. Otherwise, that could create more problem to our health system. Now, like drug, the real drug, it has governments are fighting it, the world all over. So now those people who used to traffic those drugs, now they are into medicine. They are into these medical drugs. So they traffic fake drugs. And these fake drugs in Africa, almost 70% of the drugs that we are using in pharmacies are fake drugs. And fake drug, what could fake drug create? It creates, it damages your kidney. If at all, for example, you use a wrong a wrong
medicine for your
for your health. You know, it will change your system of immunity, and then you will no longer respond to that particular treatment. For example, if it is malaria or if it is diabetes or any other disease. So this is a huge problem, you know, in the
health sector.
In the health sector, but most particularly in the pharmaceutical sector. We need to control. We need to really, you know, look into. We need to bring specialists to make sure that, you know, they check in every drug that comes into the country, because those people, those big drug traffickers, now they have, you know, they have diverted their cause to these medical drugs and bringing fake and transforming fake drugs, which is more lucrative than, you know, the cocaines and other types or other forms of drugs. So now they are bringing fake drugs to countries. So what is our capacity? What capacity do we have to control that? Because that is killing more. That is bringing, because
it's causing more harm than good.
It is causing more harm than good. You know, it is, you know, creating more diseases than ever. Because a simple treatment, you know, just like someone has just malaria, simple treatment, and then, you know, he takes medicine and then that kills him.
That's a big question mark.
Exactly. So as I told you, the problems are the solutions. If you invert the problems, you know, they are the solutions. You make sure that you control them. You make sure that you bring good doctors. You make sure that you increase the specialist doctors. You make sure that, you know, you have the tools and equipments that are needed in hospitals. Or if you go in our hospitals, in our public hospitals, if you need to do a scanning, that is a problem.
It's costly.
It's costly, and then, you know, those doctors, some of them, they have private clinics. They'll ask you to go to their private clinics, you know, to do the scanning there, which is more expensive. And why can't the government, you know, put in place those stuffs, you know, those tools for the people, for the general people? So this is what we have to fix in our
health sector.
In our health sector.
Coming back to agriculture, do you think Gambia can feed its own people?
Yes, it is definitely possible. It's just lack of courage, the lack of courage that I told you, and the lack of political will. That is our problem. Because if you talk about Gambia, you say the Gambia. The stand for what? It stands for the river. You know, we have a river that stretches from one end to another end. You know, it's a river that divides the country. So already we don't have enough water. We have land. You know, even though, you know, we are a very small country, but according to the population, we have, you know, we have lands to do our agriculture. Okay. So if you talk about agriculture, you talk about water, you talk about land, you talk about also the fertilizers. You know, how to, you know, make sure that, you know, we have land, farmers, you know, have good fertilizers. But also, if you talk about agriculture, you talk about the people, the human resource, people who do the farming, or the farmers. So the farmers need to be trained. Lands need to be irrigated. You know, the soil needs to be fertilized. So in doing this, you see, in our country, we don't give much attention to agriculture. Our budget about agriculture is just for the upkeep of the workers. They organize seminars, they pay salaries, you know, create projects which are not having any impact to our agriculture. So it's high time we change that
narrative.
How do we do it? We organize our communities into cooperatives. Each community, you empower them by giving them the necessary tools,
resources to work on.
Because now people are not only using hoes, cutlasses, and spades to do agriculture. Agriculture has taken another.
They use farm machines.
Yeah, it has taken another step.
We need.
They use drones. They use machines. They use sophisticated technology to do agriculture. This is serious agriculture. So we cannot still depend on those old ways of doing agriculture. We have to modernize our agriculture. So for that to be, we need to have a serious government who really believes in sovereignty. Because what would agriculture give you? Agriculture gives you the opportunity to be sovereign in terms of
feeding.
Yeah. So this is in line with the Afro movement agenda. Sovereignty. Mom's a book. You feed yourself. Because we've seen it during the COVID-19. Every country was shut down. There was no movement going. So if we didn't have any things to feed, what would we do?
Most of us would have been dead.
Yes. So if it extended to a few more years, you never know. This is just a warning. It was just
I think that was an eye-opening for us to open our eyes and see what was going on.
Exactly.
Like, it can happen anytime. So it's good for us to stand on our own and be ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now in farming, in agriculture, we need to have scientists, agricultural scientists. We have a National Agriculture Research Institute. But what is NARI benefiting us today? They are not empowered. Who are the scientists that are there? What are the different seeds that we are using here? Look at the weather system. The weather system has changed. Now it rains until October.
Was it November?
Yeah, November. No, yeah. At first, the normal stop. It stopped around October 20. But it went around November 11. It rained again. So what are these phenomenal changes that happen in terms of the climate? So the farmers need to know this. We need to teach them about this. When are we expecting weather forecast? When are we expecting rain? When is it not going to be? When is not going to rain? Farmers need to be prepared in this. If we really want to be serious
in farming
about agriculture.
Wow.
So also the scientists, not only about the weather, but also they will teach them how to apply fertilizer, how to farm, how to plant their seeds. So also, if you look at like the type of seeds that we are using right now, most of them have expired. Most of them have expired because now if you go to Senegal, they are giving you a type of maize whereby you'll have more than 6 heads. Corns there.
Wow.
Because of their National Research Institute is doing well, is doing very well. It's functioning. So here our corns cannot give you
that only one.
Yeah, they give you only one. So this is the advancement of agriculture. In terms of as far as research
it's concerned.
It's concerned. If you go to if you take the peanut also, it's the same thing. It produces. There are peanuts that produce different other varieties. That produces more than what we have right now. This is what we have to change. So you see, agriculture is a whole lot of area.
I believe like if a nation is to develop agriculture, infrastructure, education, health are the backbones. But once a nation development lacks that, there's nothing that is developed there.
Absolutely.
And when you come to Gambia, they are more focused on infrastructure and forget about health, agriculture. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and the infrastructure, we are not focused about infrastructure as a whole.
Only roads.
We are specialized on roads. You see? So roads, for example, if a stranger comes here, someone who visits the Gambia, who has never been here, or who has been here 10 years before, and he comes, he passes through the airport turntable road, you say, the Gambia is developing. It is true in terms of road infrastructure, but is it developing in terms of our economy? What type of economy are we building? How is our tourism functioning?
Those are weak.
So you see, so these are the areas that will give you. How about our currency? You see, the currency to safer into other currencies. It is weak, getting weaker every day.
Talking about the Dalasi, one of your policies in Afro movement, I've seen like you're going to change the Dalasi because it's weak. So how would you do that?
No, like not necessarily changing
to make it like powerful.
Yeah, to make it powerful.
Better than before.
Yeah, to make it powerful, just making it powerful. But also, if you have the possibility to like to use a common currency, as it is done in Europe, as it is done in other countries.
Like the whole Africa?
In the whole Africa. There's this project of ECHO, but it is yet to be materialized because we have selfish, leaders. We have leaders who are not serious about this Pan-African project.
That would have been better.
Yeah, so now, the Dalasi, what are we exporting? What are our exports? Virtually, we are exporting nothing. Apart from the groundnut. And in fact, the groundnut, we shouldn't be exporting this groundnut. We should be transforming this groundnut under our agenda. It is a transformative agenda whereby, we developed. We should develop the secondary sector. In economy, you have the primary sector. You have the secondary sector, you have the tertiary sector, and now you have the quaternary sector, thanks to this technology, information technology, AI, artificial intelligence, etc. But now, when you have your natural resources, you transform them. In the process of transforming them, that is the secondary sector of the economy, and that is what brings employment. You see, the government cannot employ everybody, so the departments, they are very limited vis-a-vis with the population. So what brings employment is industrialization. At first place, we are using oil, we are using peanut oil. So that peanut oil, it should be transformed. So before we used to transform it under the PPP regime, under the SARS during the First Republic. But now, why are we not doing it? And these are the things that will bring you money, and also create jobs,
employment,
and also employment, and then add to the value chain. Because like if you take peanut groundnut, like if you transform it, you can have their oil. Others can transform it to chocolate, to butter, etc. So you add the value chain, and it is transformed and consumed here, and that's the best products that you will have in terms of those products. So the products that come from Europe, They are not the best products. They are very low quality. So you see.
If I'm not wrong, we can do everything on our own here because we have the stuffs. When you come to mango season, mangoes will get spoiled because we don't have the industries to manufacture them into finished goods. When you come to orange seasons, oranges will get rotten because they don't have industries, or we don't have industries to manufacture them. But once the government did that in the country here, we can have employment.
That's it.
When it comes to the youths.
That's it. So this is why we are proposing an economic system whereby we use the primary sector effectively in order to transform, to industrialize the country. And then that industrialization of the country, that is what will bring jobs, that is what will make our economy to move. So this is the type of development that the country is lacking. So our governments are only hiding behind road infrastructure, which is very easy to do. Because they only take loans, they give them money in the name of the country. In the name of the country, they go and take loans and then develop and then build roads. It is just easy. If you have money, you will build your house. That's infrastructure. If you go to the bank, if you have the possibility, if you are working, you have good salary, the bank can lend you money, and then you go and build your house. This is exactly what the government is doing. The government, under our name, under the name of the Republic of the Gambia, they have the authority to ask money in the name of all the Gambians, and then go and build roads. Everyone can do this. Anybody that you put there can do this. This is not the type of development that we are talking about. Every country should have roads all over. Every country should have enough efficient, affordable electricity. Every country should have enough affordable water, etc. So these are basic needs that people need. We don't need to thank our governments, for bringing this to us. So what we should thank our government of is how, to boost our economy, how to make sure that, we have a functioning tourism. Look at it, tourism is dying in the country. And this is why what we are proposing about that is, I want us to transform, the capital city, to build an edge city. To build an edge city, it will be our economic capital around Farafenni and Soma. That is the center of the country. Because here, West Coast is congested. Lands are very expensive. Why? Because everybody is here. This is the most populated area of the country. So to change that, look at transportation is very difficult for people to have trains to go to school. People, when it is
coming to that, we will talk about that when it comes to education.
Yeah.
Because usually on Mondays and Tuesdays, the traffic it's normally congested. Students, some will be late from school. Myself, sometimes I have to wake up 6 to go to school, because if not, I will be here up to 11 standing.
Exactly. So why? Because the country, West Coast, is so congested. So we have to decongest West Coast region by building an edge city in the center of the country, almost the center of the country. That is around, you put Farafenni and Soma put together, we build a very big city, whereby that city will have every infrastructure that we need. It will have banks, it will have schools, it will have universities, it will have stadiums, sport facilities,
exactly.
It will have everything that a city, it will have hotels, This is what will bring people.
The economy.
This is what will boost not only boost the economy, but also promote our tourism. Every year, more than 50 million people around the world want to visit new countries that they have never visited, according to statistics. So if you build your country, you advertise it the way that it's supposed to be done, then you see people coming. You watch the Premier League, you see, Arsenal jersey, they put their visit Rwanda, and many other countries, they are advertising their countries for people to visit. But before you advertise, before you do that, you need to beautify your country. Okay. You need to put here something that
you need to look attractive first.
Yeah. You need to build a very beautiful city. This is what we want. We want to build a very, very beautiful city for the Gambia. And this is possible. This is what we call vision. So, but you cannot just lie behind, hide behind road infrastructure, believing that things are working while people are suffering.
That's the thing. Now talking about education, in your policy you talked about redefining the educational system. How would you do that, or how would you make that a success?
Yeah, education, the type of education that we have in the Gambia is something that we inherited from the colonizers. The educational system was here, but what they brought here is grammar schools, where we are taught languages, how to construct a good sentence, little bit of maths, etc. But in reality, education, you have to base it on your moral values. You have to base education on what you need as a country. Your culture, your tradition. What was education before? Before, the type of education that we had before the
coming of the
Europeans is that each society was a school. Each society, each village, each tribe, each culture, they had a specific thing that they do. Before, you had what we call the numos, you have the karankes, you have the tailors, you have the tiger, so
you have the griots too.
The griots. So these are the different type of people in our society who used to teach their families, teach them in that, and then they will also pass the knowledge to the next generation. It keeps going. So that's why they say ni ki gewel la, ki tege la, ki ude la, ki li la. Those are things that are based on their trade. Those are things that were based on their experiences, and then the knowledge that they have. So like, even look at, before, previously, when we used to eat together, every child knows, when a child doesn't even take the condiments, that are on the bowl. But there was somebody who specialized, to cut it to everyone and play. So that's education. That means, that's leadership. In every society, there is a leader, someone, who distributes, the meat or fish or other condiments, to the people. So that's leadership. That we need to, wait. Everybody. You don't have the right to eat, someone's place. At someone's place. You just need to eat at your place. You need to, a lot of discipline. It teaches us, discipline, within our society. So this was the type of education that we have. So now, how do we link that to the current educational system? This is by designing
A curriculum.
A curriculum that is based on our natural resources, that is based on our moral values, that is based on our religious beliefs. Because religion is very important in terms of education. Religion is peace. Religion is a way of living. Islam is a way of living. A way of living. How do you greet people? How, Islam prevents you to steal. It prevents you to do corruption. It prevents you to, to do bad things. So if all those things, are put into the human being, they will not. When he becomes a leader, you will have a good leader in him. You understand what I'm just trying to say?
I am understanding.
Like the moral values that our religions are teaching us should be taught in our schools, and this is the solution
to our problems.
Both Islam and Christianity teach us moral values. You look at the 10 Commandments of Moses. Don't steal. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt love your neighbor as you love yourself. So these are the values, and these values you will also see them in the Holy Quran, because these are the Abrahamic books. Books that were revealed. The Torah, the Injil, and the Quran. So they put their moral values that will mold the human being, that will shape the human being
to become
the best version of what God wants us to be. And this is what is good for our society. So now, you are not going to our children, we are not sending them to Daras. They are not teaching their religion at school. And before, people used to listen to preachers, preaching about the deen. Now we prefer listening to music. We don't go to Dara. We prefer to play or to be listening to music. So where are we going to learn those moral values? So this is why the solution is we put it. We should put it in our education system.
Talking about that, there's another thing that I have observed. Why is it that in the Gambia we have English schools that are free from nursery to grade 12, but in Arabic we don't have that, like free, that the government has built and make it free? For those that there are parents that wouldn't let their kids to go to English school.
It's not inclusive. That's why. So education should be inclusive. We have to take care of, because those who are learning Daras, those who are in the Arabic schools, they also learn knowledge. They teach them grammar, they teach them maths, they teach them a lot of knowledge, they teach them, give them knowledge. So now we have to work on the content. My educational policy is we have to shape our educational system based on what we need as a country. We need carpenters. We need mechanics. We need doctors. We need those who will exploit our natural resources. We put agenda. We put a curriculum based on that.
What we need.
So we are just continuing what the Europeans have brought in here. So we have to change that.
We missed the roots.
Yeah, we missed it. So we have to change that for it to work. And also something that is very important is our motto. What is our motto? Gambia. Progress, peace, and prosperity. Every development nation, every nation that is developed, every country that is developed because they put God first. God must be put first. So we have progress, peace, prosperity. Look at the other countries, if you take their mottos, for example, I just give you the Europeans before I go to the Arabs. In England, their motto is what? God, my country. God, my country. God, you see, God first.
God first.
UK, God first. In America, what do they put? In God we trust. In God we trust. If you go to the Arabs, they put there, for example, in Saudi Arabia, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. That is their motto.
Wow.
So, if you go to Gulf countries like Qatar, United Arabic Emirates, up to Morocco, you have Allah arise al-Watani, God, the president, and my country. So you see, they put God first. So all these are very important, because anything that we do in this life, it is because of God. Here, this world is just like a prison. We were in heaven, and then we erred there, and God brought us in this world so that we can change, so that we can work hard, so that, like in heaven, the difference in heaven, you don't work, you don't do anything. Anything that you want there is free for you. But here in this world, anything that you want, you have to work, you have to sweat for it. So this is the punishment that God is giving us here. So after that, we are going to return to Him. So it means nothing is possible in the absence of God. And this is very important as a country and as a political philosophy.
Wow, this is really impressive. Meaning our motto, if we had put God first, at least we will fear Him and then do better.
Yeah, you can say God, progress, peace, and prosperity.
Wow, thank you so much for having you here. I am indeed impressed, and I've learned a lot from your speech. Before we will close, bala ñu tagato lo am pour wax comme ñu lay votal wala ñu bëgg ñu votal la so nekké ci office bi lo leen di defar.
Waaw, just di tagato di wax ne waxtaan bi amna solo baaxa baax ka jotu di wax ne Gambian si gis nañ président Adama Barrow mu ngi jël recently ay xaalis di ko distribute si ñu nga xamantene ñoo nekk ci parti am. Before gisoon nañ National Women Mobiliser bi of NPP mu wax leen ne dem leen ngeen register ku register wut am MPP card duñ la jox ndimbal. So mo wax loolu gars yi ñoom ñu teg ko fan ñu wéer ko fan because of loolu mbir la boo xamantene tey ñu ngi dem ci élection dafa mel ni yaa ngi jënd vote si loolu is just another way of jënd vote si. So ñu nekk MPP nag suñu jigéen ñi wax ñoom because yéene nañ leen lu ëpp loolu noonu waaye lu ñu bëgg a wax moom moo nekk ne façon ngi ndimbal yooyu noonu dafa war a dem si ñëpp ñu nga xamante ne ñu ngi si réew mi fii ne warta nekk rek warta yem rek si waa NPP waaye dafa war a nekk programme boo xamante ne is a project for the Gambia. So ñun façon ngi project yooyu noonu lañ leen indil project boo xamante ne tey dinañ empower jigéen ñi dinañ empower youth si dinañ empower suñu community bi ba nga xamante ne kenn ku nekk di nga am si loo xamante ne loolu ngay yëngatu. Dinañ make sure ne tamit ndaw yi ñu utal leen xëy because ndaw yi pour ñu utal leen xëy foog rek ñu train leen soo amul training doo mun a am xëy. Dinañ make sure ne tamit dunda bi tamit ñu wàññi ko because of dunda bi seer na trop contrary to président bi mu wax ni ñu ngi añ ñu ngi reer ñu ngi ndekki loolu noonu amul because of soo dëggee si community yi nga xamante ne ñun si community yooyu lañ dëkk di nga xam ne dëgg réew mi am na jafe-jafe si wàllum añ lekk ak yu demee noonu. Kon ñun dunda bi lañ bëgg a yomb dunda bi nuñ ko mën a yombalee rek mooy ne xool suñ yeneen secteurs yi yu nga xamante ne amaluñu benn njëriñ ñu make sure ne ñu wàññi dépense yu jóge foofu yu mel ni ne comme ay ambassadeurs yu bëri yu nga xamante ne ñoo jël yóbbu leen bitim réew si Gambia réew la boo xamante ne réewu tuuti la ambassadeurs yu bëri ñu nga xamante ne ak consulats yi ak embassies yu bëri yu nekk around the world yoo xamante ne njëriñu Gambia dara nañ make sure ne yooyu su bëri ñu wàññi ko xaalis boobu noonu buy dem foofu noonu ñu jël ko ñu dugal ko si béy bi ñu jël ko ñu dugal ko si training youth yi ñu dugal ko si développement ni réew mi kon ñun agenda bi loolu lañ leen amal loolu lañ leen indil keneen mënu leen a defal lii lu dul Momodou Bah ak Afro Movement.
Thank you so much, Momodou Bah. We heard what he said. We are in time of politics, and then let us vote and vote wisely. Let us not allow them to buy our vote. Let us just listen to their speeches and then what they have for us in the future. Let us not allow them to come just in an year or in a month before the election and they start giving us what we have been seeking for and we didn't have it. So thank you all. See you next week.